When we are building a custom subwoofer box, it's really important that we prevent the sides of the box from flexing. If the sides of our box are vibrating excessively, that is lost acoustic energy that is being converted to mechanical movement. This results in a loss of output from the subwoofer, and the outsides of the box can create an annoying noise as they vibrate against other materials in the vehicle. So what is the best way when we're building a box to prevent the sides from flexing? Window braces. Now these seem simple enough, but over the years I've learned some tips and tricks that I want to share with you. Now real quick, before we talk about window braces, I do want to thank our monthly channel sponsor, Crutchfield. When it comes to picking out car audio gear, it's important that we can easily compare and contrast the different features of that gear. In my opinion, Crutchfield has the best website for this by far. As an example, for subwoofers, we can filter subs not only by brand and size, but also more advanced features like power handling, mounting depth, required airspace, and more. You can take advantage of a special offer for CAF fans by using the link here on screen or down in the video description. First off, why do we need a window brace anyway? I mean, after all, if we're building a subwoofer box and using really thick wood, like this 3/4 inch MDF, this is gonna be more than strong enough. We're not gonna have any panel flex, are we? Well, to demonstrate how easy it is to actually flex a panel, I did set up this little science experiment really quick, and you can see as I push my finger on top of the panel, I really only need to apply a small amount of force to actually distort and move that panel. But as I apply additional panels and bracing underneath the main panel, you can see it is much more difficult for me to distort this piece of wood. So we understand why we need to make a brace and put it inside our subwoofer enclosure, but how do we actually make them? Now in this video, I want to show you two different ways to do it. The first way I show you is going to be the more basic version where we're going to use just basic tools. We're going to use a jigsaw, a ruler, some scrap pieces of wood, and a pencil on this one. And then on the second one, it's going to be a little bit more advanced. We'll get a better finish, but we're going to use a router flush trim bit, a round over bit. We're going to use some templates, and I'm going to show you how we can quickly make a brace using those. The first step for either of these two methods is to start with making some measurements. Starting with our budget example, we want to measure the middle point and mark a line for the middle of each side. Now, depending on how large your brace is, that's what's going to define how thick each of the legs is for the window brace. Since this is pretty large, I'm going to use 1.5 inches in this case. Let's say that we were building it for a really beefy subwoofer, but if you did have a smaller window brace, you might want to shrink that size down to 3/4 inch or even 1/2 inch. What's nice about keeping some scrap pieces of wood on hand is in this case, both of these are 3/4 inch, so they add up to being 1.5 inches, and I can use them to quickly and easily draw out each of the sides, and then I can line up the gap between the two pieces on my middle line to draw out the inside parts of the window. What's awesome about this method of using the wood is you really don't have to do a ton of measuring and marking out each of these lines. You're just measuring those initial first two, and then it's really easy to draw everything from there. The next step here for our budget window brace is to drill a bunch of holes, which will allow us to enter the jigsaw blade into each of these cuts. Now in this version, we are using the jigsaw to do the final cut, so we just want to use care and take our time to carefully cut along that line. Now that I'm done using the jigsaw, you can see that this is our final result. I did take my time making these cuts, and they're not perfect, but from a distance, it looks acceptable, it looks good, and I mean, after all, it's just going to be inside the enclosure anyway, and it's going to serve its purpose. They're not going to flex as much because now we have a support that is tying each of the different sides together. Now, a question I often see about window bracing is, couldn't you just take some scraps of wood and kind of attach them to each other like this, and then just attach it inside the subwoofer box like this? You can do that, and that does add some valuable bracing between the panels, but you have to understand that this is not as good of a design as this, just because with this, you don't get that added surface area that you are connecting between the two different panels of wood with. So that's our low budget version. That looks pretty good, but what if we want to make these cuts perfect? And there's also the fact that these hard corners, it can be hard for air to oscillate back and forth over them. We want to have a nice rounded surface, so we're going to use the router for our more professional approach. Much like before, we start with measuring out our center lines. Now this time we're going to use our templates to mark out our cut locations. Now doing the professional version is going to take us a little bit more time because I still need to use the drill and jigsaw in order to rough cut out each of these holes. And what I mean by rough cutting is this time, instead of cutting the line, I'm going to save a little bit of material so that we can remove that final amount of material when we go over to the router. Now we need to start laying out our templates, and for this I'm using double-sided template tape that I first apply to the wood surface, and then I stick my 3 templates the long direction in the 3 areas here. Now I'll continue that process by adding multiple pieces of tape for the other direction and then adding those. Now as a side note, when we're using these templates, obviously we're locked into using this thickness for each of the legs on our window brace. If we did want to go with a smaller thickness, we could just rip a bunch of pieces of wood on our table saw really quickly at 1 inch in thickness or 1.25 inches, whatever it may be that you need to make the brace. The flush trim bit that I'm loading up on the router is a spiral flush trim bit, but what's important here is the fact that it has these 2 bearings. Because it has these 2 bearings, the lower bearing can ride against our lower template, and then the upper bearing can ride against the top. This allows us to combine the different layers to make that overall rectangle 4 different times. Let's turn on the router and get these cut. Once all the cuts are complete, I can peel away the templates and template tape. So check it out, guys. Here's our window brace professional grade version that we made on the router. And what I really like about this is since we use a router bit that's obviously round, it leaves a rounded radius in each of these corners, which just gives it a really nice, smooth, and consistent look. But speaking of smooth and consistent, we do need to get rid of these hard edges. That's easy enough to do on the router as well using a roundover bit. You can see that the bearing on top here rides against the surface, and it's going to transfer that profile down below. Let's take a close look here. Those corners look perfect. They're nice and rounded over. Air is going to be able to oscillate back and forth with ease. And when we compare against our budget version, obviously, again, our budget version still does the job, but this definitely has a nicer look. Now, a couple of additional notes here. Do we always need bracing? As an example, let's say we have a box that is really shallow, and this is the port here, and we're looking at it from above, and this is the subwoofer firing out this direction. It might not be a good idea to have a brace in this location because of the way it blocks this area. In that example, you could opt for a brace where you get rid of the window areas here and you just have an outside external area, or you could do the simple version of bracing like we were talking about earlier, where you just use a piece of wood between the 2 different boards. Now, another example of why you might not even need a window brace is when you have geometry like this. Let's say we're looking down on the subwoofer box, and this is the port firing out to the rear of the vehicle, and in this case, the subs are firing upwards. Because of the port geometry, these port walls act as bracing. They're close enough to the sub that they are supporting the top and bottom of the box, acting as good bracing. Another example of not necessarily needing bracing is if you make an enclosure that is for a lower powered subwoofer. On this enclosure, I did use the bracing because it does always add value, but you don't always necessarily need it. Finally, what about doing some complex shaped bracing? Imagine that I have the outside of this frame here, but instead of doing this cross pattern, what if I used something like an arc and went like that and then mirrored it over and also did it there? There's tons of different options that you can do, and I'd encourage you to look at something like how bridges are designed, how they use the different trusses to gain strength. But for the sake of simplicity and the fact that this absolutely works really well to just have a simple cross, this is what I like to use. One more final note to definitely remember is that having bracing inside your enclosure does take up airspace. It does have displacement, so you're going to want to account for that displacement during your box design procedure. If you do need help with a design for building your own subwoofer box, I can help you out at my website, CarAudioFabrication.com. Next time you're planning out a car audio project and you want to be able to easily compare different gear, definitely check out Crutchfield at the link here on screen or down in the video description. A special thanks to them for sponsoring this video, and a thank you to Lonnie, Ali, William, Marcos, Jerry, and the rest of the Patreon membership team. A big thanks to all those guys for making these videos possible, and thank you for watching.